Let me start with a bold statement. The profound ethereal scripture might be even stronger than the Qingyuan sword art. This isn't my opinion, of course, but Han Li's. Why would Han Li say that? And what level of cultivation art is the profound ethereal scripture? In this video, we'll uncover its secrets. Hello everyone, I'm White Horse Monkey Han Li. I first learned about the profound ethereal scripture in Su Huang's legacy gift package. However, it only mentioned the name without any specific content. For your information, in the animation, the profound ethereal scripture is also referred to as the profound ethereal art. Later, after Han Li betrayed his master, he discovered that the complete profound ethereal scripture was hidden in Xuangu's ribs. Upon reading it, he realized that it wasn't a single cultivation art, but rather a series of all-encompassing cultivation arts. For example, it includes the blood-refining divine light cultivated by Chu Han, the Black Fiend Azura art cultivated by the Little Prince, and the Fiend Demon art cultivated by the 4 great blood clans. These are just the cultivation arts of the Jixuan Yi lineage. The Jiaying Yi lineage has another set. For instance, Jiaying's disciples and grand disciples cultivate arts similar to the Fiend Demon art. Their Fiend Demon transformation doesn't require forming a cocoon, allowing them to directly transform into Fiend Demons. Moreover, they don't have the blood-condensing 5 elements pill condensed within their bodies. The cultivation arts practiced by Jiaying and Wuchou belong to the profound ethereal demonic qi, which is part of the profound ethereal grand art. Even so, Jiaying admitted that the profound ethereal demonic qi was inferior to the bearded man's Tuidi demonic art. Later, with the animation's adaptation, Xuangu's profound soul refining demon grand art was also categorized under the profound ethereal scripture. Therefore, there's no doubt that the profound ethereal scripture in the chaotic star seas is definitely one of the top demonic arts. Regarding the number of layers in the profound ethereal scripture itself, the novel doesn't specify. However, the layers of the profound ethereal demonic qi are mentioned. The second demonic Ying once said that his profound ethereal demonic qi had already been cultivated to its last 2 layers. At that time, the second demonic Ying's realm was nascent soul mid-stage. If one minor realm corresponds to 1 layer of cultivation art, then the profound ethereal demonic qi should have a total of 12 layers, capable of supporting cultivators to nascent soul late-stage perfection. Speaking of the founder of the profound ethereal scripture, some say it was Xuangu. However, judging from the layers of the profound ethereal demonic qi, this definitely wasn't written by Xuangu. After all, Xuangu's peak cultivation was at most nascent soul mid-stage, a level not high enough to write the complete profound ethereal scripture. The reason Han Li believes the profound ethereal scripture is more powerful is probably related to the Qingyuan sword art being too weak in its early stages. Moreover, Han Li didn't know about the great sword intent within it during the early stages because Qingyuan ancestor, to prevent future generations from being greedy and reckless, used a spell to obscure the sword intent beforehand. Han Li only discovered this great sword intent after reaching the nascent soul stage. Furthermore, the Qingyuan sword art had very few divine abilities in its early stages. When Han Li was forming his core, the Qingyuan sword art only offered 4 offensive techniques: the sword spear, the sword shield, the giant sword art, and the sword shadow wind light art. Perhaps even the animation couldn't stand this limitation, which is why it added an extra Qingyuan sword shield divine ability. The profound ethereal scripture, however, is different. Its secret arts are too numerous to count. Let's start with Su Huang's blood refining divine light. The blood spirit drill within it is almost a guaranteed kill for foundation establishment cultivators. Even with his white spirit shield and other magical artifact shields, Han Li's 3 layers of defense were easily pierced by the blood spirit drill. Later, when Su Huang used the blood refining divine light to protect himself, Han Li couldn't even kill him with a heavenly thunder orb. Thus, from a one-on-one perspective, Su Huang was undoubtedly the #1 foundation establishment cultivator. Moreover, the blood-refining divine light also contains the Fiend Demon art, which allows for foundation establishment without a foundation establishment pill, and the blood-condensing 5 elements pill. which allows for core formation without years of bitter cultivation. Although these two have drawbacks, they can be used in conjunction with the external incarnation secret art, allowing one to obtain a core formation stage AI assistant. Besides these, among the imperial sword techniques of the blood refining divine light, there is a pill called the marrow cultivating pill. This pill is refined at the cost of one's own cultivation, but its effects are correspondingly exaggerated. After taking it, cultivators can quickly recover from injuries, and their magical power can instantly be fully restored, making it like a man-made version of the original nascent soul pill. In the Jiang lineage's cultivation arts, there is both the very powerful Heavenly Capital Lion Fire and the core formation stage Heavenly Capital Lion. Han Li was once chased by a Heavenly Capital Lion. These refining masters possess extremely strong regenerative abilities. Even the blood spirit drill couldn't harm them. Jiang had a full 18 such Heavenly Capital Lions, which Han Li was quite happy to loot. However, the Xuangu lineage's main cultivation method is designed to prevent betrayal. To prevent being controlled, they always leave flaws in their cultivation methods when passing them down. For example, when Xuangu first met Han Li, his external incarnation was directly taken away by Xuangu because it had a flaw. Similarly, when fighting Wu Chou, Xuangu easily controlled him using a flaw. After Han Li obtained the complete profound ethereal scripture, although he didn't cultivate it himself, he used many of its secret arts. The secret art he used most often was the awakening art. This art allows one to freely lengthen or shorten various parts of the body, changing to any desired size, and also controlling muscle relaxation and contraction with endless wondrous uses. Even the Hahuan sect coveted this effect. After changing one's appearance with the awakening art, one can easily deceive cultivators whose cultivation is higher than their own. The only drawback of the awakening art is that after casting it, one can only use 70% of their magical power. If exceeded, one will revert to their original form. When Han Li was being chased by enemies in the chaotic star seas, the awakening art played a significant role. Besides the awakening art, the profound ethereal scripture also contains a killer move, the Demon Slash. This can be understood as the Pro-Max version of the Blood Spirit Drill, as both involve compressing a portion of one's vital essence beforehand and releasing it all at once when needed. Moreover, the Demon Slash is a growth skill. The higher the cultivation, the more vital essence is condensed, and the greater its power. If condensed to the realm of a true immortal, a single slash can even shatter space. The most outrageous thing is that this is only a core formation stage skill. When Han Li fought Wen Tianren, it was fortunate that Wen Tianren had mastered the substitute Calamity Grand Art, otherwise, he would have been instantly killed by the Demon Slash. Later, when Han Li was in a dungeon with his sworn brother Wang Chan, he seized the opportunity and struck directly, instantly severing Wang Chan's legs. When Han Li refined the Qianlong banquet, the method he used also came from the profound ethereal scripture. With the profound ethereal scripture, Han Li could save a lot of oblivion pills because the dream shadow art within it can tamper with an opponent's memory, making it even more effective than the oblivion pill. When Han Li was cultivating his second nascent soul, to prevent being controlled by Jimu Lingying, he used the soul separation art from the profound ethereal scripture to prune Jimu Lingying's original divine stone. When fighting Yu Shangshi, the green bamboo cloud sword was once stained with a strange spirit liquid. The grade of this spirit liquid was even higher than the Qianlong banquet, making it very difficult to remove. The profound ethereal art happened to have a secret art called Firework Thunder. Han Li slightly modified the Firework Thunder and finally used Spirit Flame, Evil Repelling Divine Thunder, and Qingyuan Sword Qi to refine 7 or 8 golden thunder orbs. The power of these thunder orbs was extremely exaggerated. For example, during the battle against the Mulan people, 10 powerful Southern Sky nascent soul cultivators were all trapped by a special blood barrier. Han Li used many treasures, but none could escape the blood barrier. However, as soon as the thunder orbs appeared, the blood barrier was instantly broken. At this time, the other cultivators from the Southern Sky were still trapped by the blood barrier, So Hanli repeated the trick, continuing to use the thunder orbs to break the barrier and release several nascent soul cultivators. It can be said that in the border war, the role of the thunder orbs was very crucial. After all, the other trapped nascent soul cultivators were all powerful, including Zhang Xia, who belonged to the top cultivators of the Southern Sky faction. If this group of cultivators had been trapped, the Southern Sky would have faced a complete collapse from the start. In summary, the profound ethereal scripture is indeed a top-tier cultivation art. It not only contains several sets of cultivation methods, but also many practical and powerful secret arts, making it most suitable for establishing a sect. Although the profound ethereal scripture has a gap compared to the Qingyuan sword art in its later stages, in terms of early-stage power, it is definitely stronger. It is precisely because the profound ethereal scripture is sufficiently profound that after Hanli obtained his second nascent soul, he had it cultivate the profound ethereal demonic qi from the scripture. It's important to note that Jiaying cultivated this very art, so Jiaying Island's excellent tradition was naturally inherited by the second nascent soul. At one point, Hanli was suddenly chased, and to distract his enemies, he sent his second nascent soul to lure them away. The result was that both Hanli and his second nascent soul were severely injured. After a long period of separation, the second nascent soul finally developed its own consciousness. Currently, its cultivation was only at the nascent soul early stage. To devour Hanli, it ventured alone into the Demonfall Nation and took possession of the heavenly fiend demonic corpse that Hanli had left there. At the same time, it used the remaining demonic qi from the ancient demon for infusion, easily breaking through to nascent soul mid-stage. This demonic qi infusion is still a secret art from the profound ethereal scripture. This kind of forced infusion secret art, while quickly increasing cultivation, can also easily affect one's temperament. Therefore, after the second nascent soul underwent infusion, its personality changed significantly compared to Hanli's. For example, when it saw 3 female cultivators enter the Demonfall ancient corpse, its first thought was to kill them, which is clearly inconsistent with Hanli's personality. However, when the second nascent soul discovered that the 3 were Songyu, Luyu, and Mu Peeling, it decided not to kill them to better control Hanli. The second nascent soul also knew Hanli's strength. Before their separation, Hanli had just entered the nascent soul mid-stage. According to the second nascent soul's estimation, Hanli was at most at the nascent soul mid-stage peak now. So, it went to the 10,000-fathom demonic abyss beneath the boundless sea, hoping to use the vast demonic qi to once again infuse and reach the nascent soul late-stage realm. But the problem was, Hanli had already reached the nascent soul late-stage realm, becoming truly the #1 cultivator below the deity transformation stage, and was now searching the world for answers. When the second nascent soul met Hanli, it was easily subdued. In the Guanghan Palace of the Spirit Realm, the second nascent soul underwent another forced advancement. It was infused from nascent soul mid-stage all the way to void refinement peak. Thus, without a doubt, its profound ethereal demonic qi was naturally cultivated to a state of perfection. From the perspective of cultivation realms, saying Hanli is Jiaying's strongest successor is truly without fault. After all, his second nascent soul cultivated to a higher level than even his Grandmaster Xuangu. Finally, something interesting to consider. When Hanli traveled through time in the immortal realm arc and met the young Bai Yuanjiu, if he had passed down the profound ethereal scripture instead of the heaven-supporting demonic palace, how would the plot of the immortal realm arc have unfolded? This is quite interesting to think about. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. Any encouragement and support from you is my motivation to update the next video. I am White Horse Monkey, and I'll see you in the next video.